Well, I have another intriguing one for you guys. Now, we found a great, straightforward, upbeat rock tune for you to check out. And actually reported adding this song called You Belong to the flagship station on March 13th. And then on the 14th, it was clear that, well, I wasn't the only person that this song resonated with. 103 ads nationwide. So we got to meet the man behind a song called You Belong. Kenny Dubman is here.
Is there somebody behind me?
Is there somebody behind you? The man behind the song. Okay, I get it. Kenny, how are you, man? Welcome to Real Rock Nights.
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good. Cannot complain. I began reading your bio on your website, but I stopped after the first few sentences because I wanted to learn along with everyone else that's listening, like
Did you stop after serial murderer? Yeah, that stops a lot of people in their tracks.
After the Santana records, that's when I stopped. I was like, wait a minute. No, I gotta learn about this man from himself. Okay, New Jersey native, correct?
Yes.
And let's go back. What kind of kid were you?
I was pretty studious when I was little, like straight A student, into, all the kid stuff, nature and bugs and all that kind of crap. And it wasn't until, once electric guitar started going into the ears and into the brain, like everything changed at that point. Everything changed, and I'd hear, and I'd listen to AM radio. I had a little clock radio next to my bed when I was a real little kid. And AM radio played everything at the time, everything from like Captain and Tennille to Doobie Brothers and Alice Cooper. So it was always this stuff that had great guitar playing, like Doobie Brothers and Alice, and even like Elton John, Isley Brothers, anything that had like, aggressive, rock, blues-based rock guitar would grab me. And then I had my mom, who's a hippie, still is. Her preference was like Hendrix and Santana. So I'd hear that playing all over the house. So like I was getting it from my radio and I was getting it from her musical taste. And it was just a thing that I just was like drawn to, like a moth to a light bulb, and that's when everything became about music and guitar. Everything.
So all your thoughts were basically stuck in the music and what you were doing at that time for the most part.
Yeah, well, I mean, I picked up I initially started playing at age 9, but I was taking your traditional lessons that didn't hold my interest too much. So I actually, a couple of years down the road, I wanted to quit, and my mom wouldn't let me quit. She said, "You got to really stick with it till it clicks." So she made me practice my little Mel Bay Book 1 stuff in front of her in the kitchen while she was making dinner. And thank God she somehow had the foresight to force that on me, because once right around when age 12, I think, is when I started to figure out like how to play the stuff that I was hearing, like rock guitar leads. I started to figure out the neck a little bit. And once that happened, it was just game on, man.
That was, kudos to mom for keeping you at it. And,
because who knows what the hell I'd be doing now if it wasn't for that.
You'd probably be like a failed musician radio guy like me. Probably be. I play other people's music because I don't have the talent to pull it off, man. And you talking about the traditional guitar lessons, like just not doing it for you. And,
because I mean, the reason I picked up the guitar is because I heard the rock stuff being played. But a little kid doesn't know that you have to navigate a lot of channels that you might be not happy going through in order to get to that point. You have to actually learn how to play the instrument. You have to learn, what notes are where, how to tune up, how to build a chord, what constitutes a scale. You have to get through all that shit. Those are all the gauntlets you have to ride through on your way to rock and roll glory.
It's like you're not going to bust into my Sharona right away.
No, and back then it would have been like, who's that lady by the Osley Brothers, or Foxy Lady by Hendrix, or something like that.
I could see
Long
that.
Train Running by the Doobies.
I can see that as a little
was the
kid wanting to
early-
play like some Hendrix right away or something. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's what everybody that picks up a guitar, that likes rock, of course, that's what they want to do. So it's those first few years of like grinding through the basic building blocks that you have to get through, and it's not fun. It really isn't.
so after you got to that point where you said you figured out the neck more and you were actually able to pull off what you were hearing on the radio, that did you look, what were your aspirations like? Band?
Yeah,
you looking
definitely
toward
band. Yeah, my first band, I guess, I don't know, how old was I? Like 13 or 14.
Oh, wow.
It was two guitar players, bass and drums, and we did like 8 Kiss songs and a couple Zeppelin tunes and a couple Aerosmith tunes. But Kiss was a thing because Kiss Alive had come out, and to back up about learning guitar for a second, I basically figured out the pentatonic rock scales from deep diving into Kiss Alive 1. So it was Ace Frehley that really unlocked it all for me, because he was doing all the Jimmy Page type licks, but he was doing Ace plays like slowly and methodically, and phenomenal. The lead guitar playing on that early Kiss stuff is so good. It's just brilliant, but it's simple, simple enough for a kid to kind of grasp. And once I figured out that everything went in little patterns that moved up and down the neck, and like this pattern looks like this and this one looks like this, and they all interlock, that's when you could basically go ahead and figure out most rock guitar once you have that unlocked. So it was Ace. So thanks, Ace.
Wow, that's kind of a cool kind of thing to actually happen. Just
it took a lot of time.
Was he putting out like tablature books and things at that time?
No, it was strictly just dropping the needle back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. And then just pulling out what he was playing.
Yeah, you go like
over and over.
Like a 10-minute, you do like a 5-second segment and be like, try to figure it out back and back. We all of us did it back then. Just
okay,
the needle drop.
Okay, I get it. And now that was, you said that basically was like Kiss songs and that stuff.
Yeah, that was like 1975-ish. I think that album came out.
5-ish. Okay, and then what about your first real band or so?
The first, I mean, I had a couple high school bands that were pretty good, but the first real working band I got into was a band called Prophet, Prophet.
Okay.
Doing like hard rock and progressive rock covers on the Jersey circuit. That started about 1980, and we within a couple of years we were one of the top drawing bands in the tri-state area doing all that stuff. And then that band ended up putting out its first record in 85, another one in 88. Like national releases on decent sized labels, and then finally another one in 91. So that was really my first jumping out into the world, was with Prophet.
Okay, so you actually you said with decent sized labels putting out, were you guys actually signed?
Yeah, the first one was we were on a subsidiary of RCA. The second one we were on Megaforce, which was Johnny Z and his wife Marsha, and that's like where Metallica, people like that started. King's X.
Yeah.
They were an Atlantic subsidiary. So yeah, I mean there was a little bit of money behind us and stuff, and we definitely gained some notoriety. Prophet was always more of a kind of a cultish following, but a very devout following. Like people all around the world know about the band. Maybe not a lot of people, but there's literally people around the globe that know of Prophet and have those records.
Okay, so we have people probably listening right now that are like, "Oh, that's that guy."
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's like we were a thing, we were like a legit thing, and those records are pretty good.
Okay, from what you saw in Prophet, as far as looking at the business, what are some of the biggest changes that you have noticed from today and the way music was run back then?
Well, back then it was all about getting a deal, getting a deal, getting a deal. And, the label fronted for everything. And depending on what, how much faith they had in you, they'd keep fronting and fronting and fronting. And then all that money, if, God willing, starts coming in, that all goes back in their pocket first before you see a dime. Now there's something else you probably don't know. I once it got to be like the early mid-90s, I said, I don't want to do this shit anymore. I don't want to write. I don't want to be beholden to the fickle changes of the industry's taste. I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? Okay. After Prophet, I had a couple bands and, spent a lot of time writing songs and, getting hopes up. And, once you cross into the Nirvana Pearl Jam era, my brand of like kind of bluesy vibe, hard rock is done. It's out the window. Nobody's looking for that anymore. So after a couple of years of beating my head against the wall with that, I just said, I'm just done, man. My passion is channeled elsewhere. So this chapter that I'm in now didn't start again until 2016 when I put out my first real independent solo effort called Reckless Abandon. Okay. So there was like a 20-something year gap. So back then with Prophet, it was like, record deal, get as much money as you can, try to get tour backing, all that stuff, video, and the label's paying for everything and you're paying it back. Now, from what I understand, if you manage to get a label deal, what they end up giving you in the end is like a microcosm of what you used to get. So having a label deal, if you're not a huge artist where you could renegotiate, doesn't really benefit the artist too much from what I understand. So of course, there's a ton of people out like me out there that are completely independent. We finance our own recording. I finance everything, but the beauty of that is my freedom. I'm not beholden to anyone.
That's what is good. You own your stuff too. Nobody has control over your music.
Yeah, the downside of it is, it costs a shit ton of money to do all the things necessary to break an artist. And if you don't have that money and you don't have some backers or friends or wealthy relatives or whatever it's going to take, it's going to be almost impossible to pay for, the radio promos, all the social media ads, all that stuff you need to do. Like radio promo is ridiculously expensive.
And
and this is all stuff that I'm kind of finding out as I navigate, these new little hurdles as an independent artist in this current climate. But what are you going to do? You got to do it. It's either you find a way to get the money and, get through these channels, or you're just going to, make records for your friends and your family. And,
exactly.
I aspire to much more than that, hopefully, knock on wood.
And there are a few, how you were talking about how expensive like radio promotion and stuff like that is. There are a lot, and this has come from somebody that I was very I don't know. I guess a lot of stations I worked at left a bad taste in my mouth from the way they treated artists. And
that's radio stations. That's a whole other thing now, because they're just all bought up by big corporate conglomerates, and
that's exactly it.
So you can't, if you're not on their list of what they're allowed to play, you're not getting played. So that's another very difficult thing. So artists like me are looking for indie stations and, like college radio, wherever you can get your foot in the door outside of the mainstream, because the mainstream is a very narrow band. And I don't really fit into any one category. I'm not like, what do they call it? New metal now, like the Shine Downs and all those bands that have that same, they all have this, I don't know, maybe they sound very
That's what's so refreshing, though. So was talking to one of my record reps the other day, and I was like, I need to line somebody up for the March 31st show. he's like, who do you want? And I was like, well, I don't know. I like this band, this band, this band. And I was like, well, that dude, Kenny Dubman, he's kind of intriguing because his stuff doesn't sound like the rest of the crap on the radio. So
Well,
I want
first
to
of all,
talk to him.
thank you for saying that, but that's almost that can be a detriment to me because I don't fit in a band with, you know what I mean? I'm hard rock, I'm southern rock. I lean a little bit country at times.
Yeah.
I definitely lean into Americana heavily at times. So like, what am I? Like, if you're gonna allocate like budget to go push my music, you know, on radio or video, like which channel do you go down? Because I don't fit into any single one of those. So that's definitely going to be a challenge, and I know that, but I'm not going to alter my writing style to.
But you have there are elements in your song that are from multiple genres. It's and you look at it right now. Hardy is a country artist, and he's impacting active rock charts. Jelly Roll, country artist, like he's on his second tune that is impacting the active rock artists. Then
Wow.
also you have like the straightforward rock bands. You have the older like 80s rock bands that are actually coming back and
Yeah.
going active once again.
Yeah, Skid
And
Row.
they're
Those,
on
those are the Skid Row guys are good friends of mine from years ago before we.
Skid Row. That Tune Extreme just came out with.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. It's
Yeah,
like,
those guys really like they really like dialed their shit in. You know, that new singer is fucking unbelievable, and they're just, I mean, they're old friends of mine, and to see them like come up with something that's so fresh and relevant sounding now, and people are like freaking out. So like, kudos to them, man. That's just super awesome to see.
and it's just so anyway, what I'm trying to get to is when you hear your song alongside of one of these other songs that are like your cookie cutter, like rock or whatever. It's refreshing. It's kind of one of those things where like, hey, okay, well, you know, yeah, somebody is like putting their own spin and their own style. And
Well, thank you so much for saying that. Appreciate it.
and well, yeah, I just talent deserves to be shown, and that is one of the reasons why I finally, you were talking about the conglomerates and buying up all these stations, and that was why I got out of the terrestrial radio and I went to digital broadcast because
Yeah, I hear you, man.
like I can actually pull like these new artists, and I have so many listeners. Hell, we're doing this concert crawl thing all through up until the end of August right now. And I was out at our second stop the other night, and somebody came up to me and they were like, your station doesn't play the same crap that everybody else does. And I was kind of taken aback because I didn't even know that I guess I would say I didn't even know that people thought that way for the most part. I thought that a lot of these radio stations around here, you know, the FM stations, I thought that people were just listening to them because like, well, hey, you know, they were grandfathered in. That's what they were about and that stuff. It's like, no, these people are listening to the stations because they want to hear the new stuff. They want to hear the new stuff from the old bands coming back. They want to hear the new artists that are doing their own things, like the Kenny Dubmans and that stuff. They don't want to hear the same stuff pumped out over and over.
Well, look, Shep, whenever you have something very big come in and start taking over things that are small, the big entity is going to start telling the people, this is what you're listening to, or this is what you're buying, or this is the way you're going to behave. That's just the nature of the business. It's like government. You know what I mean? Okay. So big giant corporate takeover of radio, they're just buying up stations, and everything is a metric. we're targeting this band, this consumer at this time of day. Everything is broken down. It's not about the music anymore, man. It's about advertising dollars and squeezing every dime out of every listener they can get. So it's not about music. It's about demographic.
You bring up that point of everything is a number in that. When there was one station I worked at, not going to call them out, but it was hilarious, man. Whenever the book would come out, the ratings would come out, they would always find a way to spin it as they were number one.
Yeah.
No matter what. And finally, like, I think it was like 2 days after that, I was like, okay, guys, I'm out. But because they were like, they brought us all into this big room and they were like, well, the new Arbitron book just came out and we're number one with, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was so fucking stupid. It's like, we're number one with females in September that are pregnant with girls or something. It was so stupid.
Yeah. And that's
just so they could spin it as,
right?
Yeah, just so they could spin it as they
that's like, funny as shit. So let me ask you, is You Belong the only tune you've heard of mine yet? So far?
It is so far.
Right,
I'm going to take
cool.
a deep dive into some of the Prophet stuff because
well, I mean, before you even do that, I would say go back and, check out my first record, Reckless Abandon, check out my last EP, Conflicted. Conflicted has Zach Wilde does a lead on it, and Charlie Starr from Blackberry Smoke does a lead on it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I definitely
will.
I
mean, that was really like the first effort of mine under my current management company, Emberstone and Ray. So and actually, the songs that are coming out on this upcoming EP on the 11th, which You Belong is part of, were actually all recorded in the same sessions that the Conflicted EP was done. It was actually going to be a full-length album, and we split them up into 2 EPs instead. So, go back and check Conflicted out, and that goes for, anybody that's listening to this now. And before that, go listen to my first album, Reckless Abandon. There's a lot of, I just busted out of the gate full of like shit pouring out of me on that album. There's some good stuff on there. I always have a lot to say, but I had a lot to say on that record.
When that brings up a question too. Yeah. Say you have had a lot to say in that record. How do you go about putting your stuff together? It's like, does it just like, I guess that does it just hit you? Are you just
I mean, I wish
that's perfect.
I wish there was like a rhyme or reason. Like I could say, I get up at 8 o'clock every day and I open my notebook and I put my guitar on my lap. It doesn't happen like that. Like there'll be stretches of like 3 weeks, whatever, maybe a month where I don't have any good ideas at all or anything that comes up that I like. And then I'll hit a patch of like 2 weeks where I'll like 3 full complete songs will get done. So I'm at the mercy of whatever lightning bolt comes out of the sky. But I mean, I could wake up with like a melody line in my head over a couple chords, like literally as soon as I open my eyes, it's there. And I'm like, holy shit, this is something being sent. If I go back to sleep, it's gone forever. So I never do that. I grab the guitar and, sit down and bang it out. But a song will always evolve from like a chord change and a vocal melody. So once I have like the chord changes and the vibe and the pulse of the song, start humming a melody along with it, and then that's where it all evolves from the changes and the vocal melody, because vocal melody is really what sells the whole song. It's everything, and that's the smallest skeletal outline of the song are those two things, and it's always just acoustic guitar and a notebook. That's it.
Just
so
simple.
Every electric song you hear of mine, most of which are electric, were all finished from front to back on an acoustic guitar. It's just my thing. It's just the way what works for me.
Okay. All right.
You Belong was written on a Gibson J45. Like the day I bought the guitar, I got it home. I put a capo on the second fret. I don't know why, because I fucking hate capos. They always make the guitar go out of tune, or I'm not using the right capo yet. But just like the difference in the dynamic of a 2 fret shorter neck, I started playing around with some open chords. I was like, wow, it's a whole different vibe. And that turned into that song like that.
Wow, that's cool. You were, and with you talking about waking up and all of a sudden having some piece that you have to go and record right away before you forget it.
Yeah.
So how often, I just want to know for my peace of mind, how often has it happened where you've been stuck in a part on a song you've written and it's almost complete, and then you had that dry spell for like 3-4 weeks?
Oh, dude, that's a great question, because there have been songs, and I have a couple of them now that are literally waiting on like a 2-bar bridge, and I'll pick up like, you know, every day or every couple of days I'll bang through it and, you know, sing a melody and see if something comes to me, and it could be, you know, could be like 4 weeks before that final piece of the jigsaw puzzle falls in, but you can't rush it. Because if you try to rush it and force it, that part's not going to be good, and it's going to drag the whole rest of the song down. When it's right, I guess any writer, but for me, like when a part's right, you instantly know it. You don't have to second guess it.
Okay, so
I'm
just
really
wait,
self-critical. You know what I mean? And if it
Okay.
doesn't, if I'm not like, okay, that is absolutely the part, then it's not the part.
Okay, I get it. You just wait until
You got to wait it out.
Last puzzle piece.
And there's always like
place.
a bunch of different pots on the stove. It's not like I'm in one song all the time. On my iPhone, I have like 30 unfinished ideas that I'll go back like every week or so and listen to them all. And and sure enough, at some point, like one is going to jump out and you're going to go, I know what I got to do with that. And that piece that might be a year old then becomes a song.
Okay. All right. So you are returning into the well.
Oh yeah. It becomes a song when it's ready, when it's ready. And I'm very, like, I have a very mystical outlook on the whole songwriting thing. Like, I don't feel like when I'm really pouring out some shit that I think ends up being really good, I feel like it's channeled. You know what I mean? I'm simply the conduit. Like, the idea is coming from elsewhere. Like, it gets done and I'm like, holy shit, I didn't really do that. Like, you know, because when it's happening, and my dad says this is a left brain, right brain kind of thing. I don't really know. Like when you're in your top creative form, there's a lot coming out of your subconscious. It's not conscious thought. And I totally believe that, because that's what it feels like.
I know that's what they say with talented people, but like we already talked about it. I'm not talented. Otherwise I'd be playing my own music instead of playing everyone else's. As far as live stuff goes, what are we looking at like in 2023?
Here's what I think is going to happen. To get out and open, I'm not going to go around and play, you know, shows to 3 people that don't know me. You know, that's just, it's expensive to go on the road, and unless you can get in front of like a serious amount of people at one time to actually build something, it's not really worth it. So I think if this song continues to build at radio, it's going to give my management some leverage to go to act A or B, or, you know, they have a whole list of people I'd love to get out in front of and say, hey, you know, I got this guy that's got a song doing really well at radio. You know, will you take him on for like a week or whatever? And so that's what we're hoping to happen. You know, do whatever, like a week stint, 2 weeks, 3 nights, whatever, with any of the bands that I'd like to go out with. And it'll likely be, because I'm seeing more and more of this lately, just me and an acoustic guitar, just playing and singing my songs.
Just
the nature of the road now, I'm seeing a lot more of that, because these opening bands that don't have any money or any notoriety yet, you can't afford to bring a whole band out, pay them van, trailer, motel rooms. But I can jump in my car with an acoustic guitar and go anywhere, you know, and sleep in the fucking thing if I have to. I don't care. I would.
That's
that's how I see it. Knock on wood, getting the fire lit. You know, and then once there's, you know, a little bit of attention, then I can, because I have local guys that are phenomenal that played on my records that I would love to bring out, and they want to come. But yeah, I think it'll probably start with the solo acoustic thing.
Okay. All right, cool.
Because locally, I do a lot of that in like little bars and restaurants, like covers and stuff, to supplement my income right now. So these songs have been getting a big workout for like a long time. So when the time comes to get in front of like a concert audience, I'm ready right now.
You're ready right now. And actually, I think don't you kind of think that that's kind of a good way to do it too? Because I've been to so many shows over the last, I'd say like, I don't know, year or so, where we were in the pandemic. So a lot of the younger bands lost a lot of their momentum.
Yeah, it sucks.
And along with that momentum went a lot of the support that they had financially.
Yeah.
So like they're trying to put these shows on, but they're so stripped down, and it's almost like they're half-assing it. And it's like, why don't you, if you're going to strip down, why don't you do it completely and do the acoustic stuff and build yourself back up, and then you can go to the full stage show and stuff, instead of just having like, I don't know, you tell me what you think.
I haven't seen that because I don't really go to that many shows.
Okay.
I'm actually going to see Kenny Wayne Shepherd tonight. He's down the street.
Cool.
Buddy gave me a ticket. Yeah. But as far as like full band stripping down to next to nothing to try to still do a full band thing, if that's happening, I mean, they're doing it because they have to do it. I wouldn't want to go out and try to play like as an electric trio, because it's not going to do the songs. The songs are not going to sound the way it's supposed to sound without another guitar player, a Hammond organ player, So I would rather go out and do them myself, because I know I can totally put them over. Even in acoustic form, they're still rock songs, and they still sound rock. And like I said, I've been doing them a lot over the past year and a half or so. So they're ready, and they got a lot of energy behind them. And I know I can sell the song, and I can just sit there and tell people, look, these are electric rock songs, check out, the new record. And then if they're into it, then they will, and then they'll hear, what they sound like fully amplified.
And then you can set up like a full blown like stage show tour.
Yeah. And like, I'm not the kind of act that needs like backing tracks or any of that shit. I think they call it plug and play.
Plug and play.
We can go out with a couple amps and a drum set and one Hammond organ and just, fucking annihilate a place. So when the time comes to do that, we can do it threadbare, but with all the members I need.
Okay. All right, cool. Well,
I'm not dragging out 4 Marshall cabinets. You know what I mean?
I totally get it. You won't have
guess
that.
Who's going to be carrying it?
Won't have that semi gear.
Yeah. I have a little orange. That's the amp brand. 112 30 watt. Pick it up with one hand, and I've played big shows with that thing, and it sounds amazing. So,
really, I was going to ask about that. The little hand. They're almost handheld cabinets. And I was going to ask about that, if they were something that you could use for like small places or large. Do you have to mic those at all and run them through the PA?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, any concert, you're miking your amplifiers anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're miking a Marshall stack or a single 12-inch speaker. If the tone is great, it's going to sound great through the PA system. So I mean, you could play Madison Square Garden with a 112 30 watt orange thing like I have. You stick a mic in front of it, and all of a sudden, it's coming out of the system. So yeah, you don't need to carry a shit ton of gear.
Well, yeah, if you're a plug and play band, if you don't need that like load of stuff to play against a click track.
Yep, none of that here.
But you're raw and real, man.
Yeah, it's just rock and roll based on what I loved in the 70s. So, from whoever, Bad Company to Foghat to Leonard Skinner, you name it.
Yeah,
that's kind of the mold.
That brings a thing to mind too. It's at your shows, are you ever known to pull out some like
covers?
a band?
Absolutely going to do that. And I'm going to do that even when I go out by myself on acoustic, because as I said before, I'm doing a lot of, money gigs in the area, just like local bars and restaurants. So I got covers coming out the ass, and I know the stuff that goes over great. It's always the bluesier rock stuff like the Skynyrd and the Stevie Ray and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's a great way, especially I think in front of an audience that doesn't know anything you're playing, and you have to win them over. You throw in a tune like I Know a Little by Leonard Skinner, and it's like, wow, yeah, cool.
And then pulls them
it pulls the mood along. So yeah,
smack them in the face with your own stuff then.
I will yeah, I'm not averse to doing that at all, and I more than likely will.
Okay, awesome, man. KennyDubman.com is your website. And what's the best way for your fans to follow you as far as on social networking?
Probably Instagram. And my handle is official Kenny Dubman. And I know that's kind of goofy because, there's no other Kenny Dubmans that I have to be differentiated from. The reason that we had to do that is because my simply Kenny Dubman account, I had to stop using it because I couldn't reset the password, and we couldn't run ads or anything like that. So we had and I can't even delete it. So that account is still up, and there's stuff all over that says, please go follow official Kenny Dubman.
Okay.
Because I can't get rid of it. I don't know the password, and I've tried to get a hold of the people at Instagram, and nobody ever gets back to you, of course. So yeah, it was my little Instagram disaster, but we'll overcome it. So Instagram, also my YouTube channel. It's the @ Kenny Dubman 1395. There's a lot of music up there, and I would definitely encourage people to go back and listen to Conflicted. Listen to Reckless Abandon. I also have an acoustic album a live acoustic album that I put out in 2018 called American Songbook. It's got some good tunes on it. And I just did it as a duo. Those songs are not on any other record, so it's not like a live album of stuff that was previously recorded. It's all unique to that record. So yeah, go on, Spotify or Apple Music and just dig. You're going to find some stuff you're going to like a lot. And the new EP called, what is it called? And the Pursuit of Happiness will be out on 4/11. That'll be 6 new songs, including the current single, You Belong.
April 11th. That's when it drops. And looking really, really forward to it, man. Once again, KennyDubman.com is the website. And all those socials are on there. You can link off from his website. And also, as Kenny just said, yes, give him some Spotify spins, man. Maybe he can make enough money to buy breakfast or something.
Yeah, I take my kid to McDonald's tonight on 10 years worth of Spotify spins.
There you go. And pick up a hoodie or something.
Yeah, well, we have that's the thing. All the merch, I haven't started pushing that yet. Because I'm waiting for the actual release of this new EP. Then I'm going to start the merch is pretty awesome.
Oh, you have another line to go.
What's that?
You have another line of merch to go?
I have a full line that's up on the website, but I haven't been directing people to the site.
Oh, okay.
Until, the EP comes out. Then it's going to be, you're going to.
Okay, well, then guys, don't go to the website until April 14th.
You can go there. It's fine. The stuff is up and ready to buy right now, but I haven't directed any traffic there yet.
Okay.
But I'm an upstart artist going through all the upstart stuff.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I totally understand, man. And how adept are you becoming at editing video and things now? Because that's the landscape that we're in now, where the artists have to keep on top of all this crap.
Yeah,
you never really had to did that before, did you?
I'm not editing the videos that you see up on YouTube.
Okay.
Like the ones that are for songs like Modern Day Jesus and You Belong and Old Dog that features Charlie Starr, Cruelest of Them All that features Zach Wilde. Those are all I found a company in Europe that actually does a phenomenal job at a reasonable price and makes a very, very professional looking lyric video.
Okay.
But when for Instagram stuff like that, I got a little thing called forget VN video editor on my iPhone. So you can splice little pieces together. Works great.
Okay. All right, there have been different things. I want something that, or I would like, if somebody is listening out there that has coding knowledge, I would love it if we could get something that Adobe has something really close to it, but not exactly. It's not easy to use, but something where because all these sites have different metrics for all the video. It's got to be a certain aspect ratio. It's got to be set this way, set that way. Something that
You
will
make your life miserable.
something
living
that will
hell.
actually take this. We can take a video and then just hit like radio buttons to like send it to all the different socials, and it
Yeah.
just uploads everything in the proper format that it needs to.
Yeah, all my stuff, everything that goes on socials for me is directly from my iPhone, and I have no problem with Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. They all just go right up. So I guess I'm all right.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm out of it. Maybe they changed it. I don't know. I haven't uploaded anything to Instagram in a long time, but
Yeah, they're just, I mean,
Facebook was different than Instagram. Instagram was different than Twitter. It was.
No, you can upload video from your iPhone to any of those social media platforms.
Okay. Well, then I guess somebody has already taken care of it. So never mind.
Yeah, man, get out there.
Okay, Kenny, it was freaking awesome talking to you, man.
You too,
Thank
Shep.
you very much for being on Real Rock Nights. And what do you say we play You Belong for?
Yeah, let's let it rip.
Okay, this, my friends, is Kenny Dubman and his tune You Belong, which I'm gonna tell you that I believe this is gonna be at least in the mid-20s in 2 weeks. It's You Belong, Kenny Dubman, right here, right now on Real Rock Nights.
Click the latest video right here, right now. And don't forget to like and subscribe.